Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, man?
I don't know, man. It's the first coffee of the day. Doing all right.
Yeah, I just got mine in me too.
Yeah. It's noon here, so I shouldn't admit that, but
Yeah. Well, it's 11 here, so I'm not doing too much better. And I think the only reason I got up is my old lady came home from work real quick, and the
yeah,
dogs went crazy. So the life of a musician.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
even when I'm not playing, I'm naturally just feeling like I
Oh,
came
that's
off
the
a
hardest.
show.
That's the hardest thing, actually, man. Trying to be somewhat normal when I get home. I end up still staying up till 4 in the morning, staring at the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I've been working a lot more lately, so like I've been on like going to bed at like 10 at night, so it's weird to me. Like
oh, that sounds amazing.
it is kind of, but I'm such a night owl. Like I feel like I
Yeah,
have got like no
yeah, that's
creativity.
good. Yeah, I've just always been that way. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. So you're up in Idaho, huh?
Yeah, yeah, back in Idaho for a minute. Actually, my old man just got open heart surgery.
Oh
So,
man, that's a bummer.
yeah, it was kind of wild. Yeah, I'm kind of, it's funny. He's a construction worker. He's been smoking for over 50 years. So can't say I was shocked when I got the phone call.
Yeah.
And, but, I kind of shifted my schedule around to play some gigs up here and, kind of stay close to home, help him out. So,
So where's your normal home base at nowadays?
I've been in Nashville for about 2 years. I've been living over there.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, just got a new place actually, and yeah, just wanted to change the scenery. I was living down in Southern California for almost 5 years. I was had this little place right off Sunset Boulevard that I kind of scored for pretty cheap, and so I, kind of had that as my when I was off the road, could still feel like I was in a music town, but LA's just kind of a facade in
Yeah.
terms of that in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of great music there, but it's money definitely talks louder than talent usually. So
Yeah. Well, it's like yeah, it's not just California, it's or
yeah,
Hollywood. It's that's everywhere nowadays. Especially now that you're in Nashville. Fuck, it's even worse there, I think, you know?
yeah, it's funny. Nashville, yeah, it's like all these towns, you get that love hate thing going, but Nashville's cool. One thing about Nashville I gotta say is once you get past the surface,
Uh-huh.
there are so many just incredible musicians that are just hiding out there, and they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
they're not out playing Broadway, but they're
Mhm.
they're there. And been living there since the 60s and 70s, and
Mhm.
still just doing sessions and writing tunes. And I've met some just unbelievable you know musicians there and just songwriters. And so it's cool. It's in Nashville's got it's got this small town feel.
Yeah.
It's not a big city, so it's you hang out there for a while. You go out drinking in the bars there, for a month, and it's pretty interesting the people you run into, man. There's some interesting stories floating around.
Yeah,
So
Nashville's actually a cool town. I've got a few friends from there. With all the bullshit that is there, there's like you said, there's a lot of good shit there too. A lot of
yeah, yeah. I was actually doing a session at a studio on my last album there, and my buddy invited Phil Kaufman over to hang out, and I
Oh,
didn't
really?
I knew I'd heard that name, but I honestly it didn't
Put it two
connect. I
together.
was like, he's like, you mind if my buddy Phil comes over? And sure, whatever, man. And this guy comes in all tattooed up, he's instantly just a total smart ass.
Yeah,
Walks
yeah.
in the room, and I'm not doing a vocal take, and he's like, I go, what do you guys think of that one? He goes, I don't know. You got a real pretty mouth, though. I know that. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what the hell? And then finally, I start thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, no way. It's the guy. It's the
Yeah.
guy. And he was just hilarious, man. He still rides his Harley. He was like 80-something years old, still
Yeah.
riding his Harley around Nashville.
Dude, I've been wanting to pick his book up. It's kind of hard to find. Cause
Yeah.
like even with the shit that happened at Joshua Tree, that guy's got a whole like 400-page book of other
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Cause he was a road manager for a lot of people, not just Graham Parsons.
Oh, yeah. I actually, I just read it recently, and it's hilarious, man. Such a good book. It's a quick read, too. It's just,
Is it?
because well, Phil, he's just a hilarious guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's already just a jokester. So, I mean, you don't want to put it down once you pick it up. You'll read it in 2 days.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick it up. Maybe it's easier to find these days. I was looking into it a while ago. I just haven't thought about it for a while.
Yeah, buddy, my other drummer got to borrow it from this guy, Pino Bennett, who's been friends with Phil forever. He's from this legendary Idaho band, the famous Motel Cowboys. But
Huh.
he got to score his copy and lended it to me recently.
Huh.
Strongly recommend reading it if you get a chance. It's hilarious.
Cool. That's pretty rad. I love that story, and he's always seemed like a guy that would be cool to hang out with too.
Oh yeah, there's got to be some documentaries on him out or something. Actually, I should YouTube that.
Yeah, there should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, have you ever watched the movie with Johnny Knoxville?
You know what I saw? Because on the book, when I was reading the book, it said that on it. It said, also now, motion or major motion picture, and
Yeah,
there's like
yeah.
an advertisement for the movie. I haven't seen it.
It's pretty good.
One friend said it was kind of cheesy, but
Really?
I'd like that stuff. I'd watch it. I don't know.
I thought it was pretty good.
I bet it's hilarious.
It is. It's funny. I think they kind of fucked with the, just like anything in Hollywood, they fucked with the story a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they Hollywooded it up a little bit there. What the hell?
Yeah. So what do you got going on these days, man? You're working on some new stuff, aren't you?
Yeah. I just actually I was just over in Portland for 3 or 4 days, just starting to kind of get the first tracks down for the new record, and I've been working my last record. I worked with this guy Greg Williams, and he's just a genius, and he's an incredible drummer. He used to drum with Pete Droge, and he actually drummed with Sheryl Crow back when. But
Oh, really?
He's produced records for like the Dandy Warhols and Blitz and Trapper.
Yeah, okay. I think I wonder.
Genius, man.
My buddy works in a studio down there that has a lot of that same. He talks about a lot of the same bands recording there too. So I wonder if it's the same place.
Yeah, it's called the Trench Studios.
The Trench?
It's just basically in his house, but it's my favorite kind of studio, man.
Me too, man.
We've recorded in these big, fancy studios, and they cost $1 gazillion dollars.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I feel way more comfortable in a home studio, man. That's where I recorded my last one, and
there's something about it, man. And you can stay there, and I don't know, man. You can just kind of set your own hours, and you don't have to stare at the clock. And I get more work done because I honestly do. I work. I do like to start early, but also, if you lose the vibe some point during the day, I just hate. I can't have to worry about time. It's like, and I don't like being in there trying to force takes.
Mm-hmm.
You're not feeling it or something. It's like, well, let's put it down for a while and let's hit it at 9 p.m. tonight and see what the hell happens. And, maybe I can get a bottle of wine in me and then start, going from there. Like, sometimes it's like, God, you have to stress about any of it. I just feel like it takes away from the whole vibe I'm trying to put out anyway on the record.
So who do you got playing? Do you have pretty much the same people playing on all your albums, or do you kind of revolve?
It's been revolving a lot. I used to have the same guys for 10 years. I was playing with the same guys, and then I don't know, man. Stuff shifts. We hit our 30s, and all of a sudden, everybody has kids and wives, and it just became, I think I quit caring about that so much when I started having to call people's wives to ask them if I could come in and do shows and get in the studio.
Yeah.
You get to a point, you're like, all right, I get it. But I don't know, with the way the business is now, and you're just having to kind of chameleon around and figure out how to make it work and money. And I get it. Yeah, you got a couple kids in the mix. You got to look at things differently. And so I've had a lot of guys just kind of back away from. But we keep a pretty busy tour schedule. And in my 20s, I felt like I never understood that. I was like, well, if she got with you for music, then why would you make it quit?
Yeah.
But you know how it is. It's like there's a bottom line for people, and you got to make you got to do something that makes more money usually when you have a kid.
Yeah, things happen and things change.
So when I lost that core foundation, I quit caring so much about it. And there's a couple guys that I always tend to have on all my stuff. My brother plays on a lot of my stuff, and I usually have. There's a guy here in town, this guy Dave Mannion, this great pedal steel player I've had on a lot of my stuff. Another guy named Ben Walagoski in Denver usually plays guitar and steel, but a lot of times I end up playing bass, and then, Greg, the producer I work with, is a phenomenal drummer. So I'm just like, well, we get the drums and the main guitar and vocals down. It's like, no, I'll play the bass. What the hell?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my guy I usually record with is a bass player, so it's helpful to have your engineer be able to play something too.
Yeah. It's tough, man, because there is value. I do think there's value in having a band, and I do miss that, but I don't know. At least at this point, once I lost my core guys, I just haven't played with anyone that long since then.
Yeah.
And I move around so much. Now I've got a couple guys they're great, but a couple guys I play with in Nashville when I'm back home and just doing local gigs, and then I've kind of got my road band that I go out with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta make it work. However you do it. It is interesting, I'm meeting different guys at all levels too. It's just like everyone kind of has their own bizarre formula of just pulling it off. And it's an art form in itself now.
Yeah. It's definitely hard to get, like you said, keep that core group of folks to stick
Actually,
with
made me
you.
think of that Bob Wayne guy you had at Ruckus in the Boonies last year or the year before or something. It was funny talking to some of his guys, man. He's got a crazy story, it seems like.
Yeah, that's how I kind of got my start into music, was being his merch guy for a while. And
That's just crazy. You gotta have. I gotta get you around a campfire sometime, man. I know you got some stories from that.
he's interesting to say the least, man.
I didn't know he was sober too. I'm like, holy, that's even weirder.
Yeah, he did a lot of like acid and shit back in the day. I mean, I think he fucking partied enough for a lifetime in 10 years,
I noticed that, man. Some of those guys too. You're like, oh man, this guy seems like such a weirdo. I can't imagine what kind of drugs he's on. And then you're like, oh, he's sober. That's like Zappa. It's like finding out Zappa's sober. You're like, oh, that's even weirder. Like,
yeah.
What the hell? He was writing all that stuff sober?
Yeah, that's probably really why.
Yeah.
He was super smart, not using anything to numb all of his crazy thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a fine line. It's a fine line.
Yeah. So are you from Idaho originally?
Yeah. Yep. I grew up in Donnelly, Idaho, just north of Boise, probably 2 hours. So it's kind of right by McCall, Idaho, which people are more familiar with. But it's just, it's a gas station, liquor store town,
Like Heppner.
Yeah, totally. It's a cool little town, though. Recently the ski resort opened up there that has kind of brought, a little more attention, a little more business to the town. Although it went out of business, it's been a whole episode actually. But
oh man, that's too bad.
It's a weird thing. Yeah, they went really big with it, and then the financial crisis, happened, and I guess they didn't get the loan that they needed. So they, it's one of the only ski resorts actually that has had their chairlifts repoed by the bank.
Oh fuck!
Which is pretty crazy, man. I remember visiting my folks a couple of years ago, and we could see the helicopters flying off with the chairlifts.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
It's pretty nuts, but yeah, it's a cool little town, man. They got a couple bars, and it's just kind of one of those small Idaho towns, man. A lot of people just end up stopping and getting gas there and don't think much of it, but
right on.
I still love going back there, man. It's a beautiful area, and it's out in the middle of nowhere, and that's where I do a lot of my writing out there. Actually, my folks still live in a cabin way out in the woods there, so I feel pretty lucky to have it. I can go kind of collect I get sick of the city, I go there, and then I get sick of being alone, go back to the city, kind of keep a balance.
Yeah, I think you were telling me about that at Ruckus. We were talking about that a little bit, how you had that spot. That's cool.
Yeah, kept me sane somewhat.
I bet, man. Well, yeah, you must be like on kind of a creative streak too, because you just put a new album out last summer, didn't you?
Yeah, or it technically came out 2 years ago, but it was like the November before, so it was kind
of, really? I thought it was closer
it was
to
right before the new year, which is a weird time to put a record. I don't really know what the hell I was thinking there.
Yeah, because then you kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, I've always like December, like November, December are bad times to put albums.
Yeah, it's like everyone's doing their end of year thing, and and then it's holidays and New Year's.
Any writers already got their albums picked,
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's well, I had a pretty awful manager for a couple of years there, so
no, that sucks. Oh yeah, you were telling me about that too. Are you still with the guy that I dealt with?
No, probably not. We had this, it's endless, man. I've at this level too. It's like I found that to be the hardest thing, to find a manager, at this point where you're just, you know, you're making enough to keep doing what you're doing, but you start splitting up that pie, and you get real critical of someone else who's taken, you know, as much or more of a chunk of it than you are, and they don't seem to be pulling in.
Yeah, and they're just
It's
sitting
like,
at home behind a fucking computer while you're out hustling.
exactly. You know, like, and that's what, I had another friend of mine telling me how many, you know, they're in a band, been around for 20, 25 years, and he's like, yeah, man, it gets pretty hard to deal, you know, some asshole sitting in air conditioning in Nashville, and you know, he doesn't have to worry about losing his girlfriend or his wife, and you know, sitting on a fucking, you know, taking a shit in a disgusting gas station somewhere in, you know, Arkansas.
Dude, I've been in places that I refuse to shit in. Like, you get to the venue, and I'm like, I'm not shitting here. I'll go find a fucking fast food restaurant a couple blocks away.
The famous one is Bert's Tiki Lounge in Salt Lake. It actually finally closed.
I've been to Bert's. Yeah, I've been to Bert's. We started playing in the garage.
It's kind of sad they closed the joint because it won like best worst dive bar like years in a row.
Oh, really? Have you ever been to the Double Down in Vegas?
Oh yeah, I actually blacked out at that place, and because what is it? They have the shot of ass juice.
Yep. You have been to the Double Down.
Yeah, I don't know. My buddy, you know, we had a night off in Vegas, and we might have been opening for Bob Wayne there. Actually, which is weird. We were playing the dive bar.
Oh yeah, the dive bar's cool.
And I swear, we might have been. I think we were playing with Bob Wayne.
Well, he plays the dive bar all the time.
It was a weird match. I don't know why we ended up playing with Bob Wayne as much as we did, because we're pretty different. But
yeah.
But yeah, we played there and had the next night off. My buddy drags me, you know, you guys should Double Down. And of course, we had like 10 bars before. And I just remember waking up, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I had to carry your ass out of the Double Down, put you in a taxi." I was like, "Oh, well, it was a good night, I guess." But,
yeah, the Double Down's a cool place, man.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite bars. You know, Vegas is one of those weird towns. I had to figure out how to do Vegas.
Yeah, me too, dude. I understand what you're saying completely.
Yeah. It can be a cool town.
It can be.
People are always like, oh, you know, the Strip. I'm like, dude, don't touch the Strip. That's not where it's at. Because like Fremont, now we've been playing. What's that? Like, there's like the Beauty Bar down in Fremont. That's kind of the spot to play now.
Really?
Like, better spot. Fremont's I just like that part of town.
Yeah, because for years we'd go to Vegas and I'd be like, I fucking hate this town. It's hot. It's dirty. It's expensive.
It's such a one night stand town, man. You show up, night of, you're all excited, and you wake up in the morning just like feeling just guilty and gross.
I used to plan mine. I just planned my tour to where I'd stop in Vegas and then I'd roll out at night and go into Phoenix. I'd drive all night to get to Phoenix. I'd get a motel at 8 so I could be in air conditioning all day and just sleep all fucking day because I didn't.
Yep. That's the way to do it, man. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Recently I've just been kind of not really. I don't know. We're kind of at this point now where we're just taking the, you know, we're trying to find where it really matters to go play for us.
Yeah.
You know? I've doing this last 10 years. I guess you start to figure out what places where you're just kind of spinning your wheels.
Well, I feel like you're kind of in a weird spot right now where like you're kind of like outgrowing the bars a little bit, but you're not quite big enough to be playing bigger venues yet.
Oh, totally. It's that interesting. You know, it's a weird place to be. I mean, like when I was out playing guitar with the Jack Mormons, you know, Jerry's kind of been in that same thing too. I mean, we'll go play a place that's, you know, 300 to 500 person room. And, you know, do great, and then the next town over, you know, we're playing 100-person room, and maybe 50 people show up. And like, what the hell? You know, it's a weird thing. You just got to kind of figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are.
Are you playing? Sorry, I'm kind of baked, so my mind's bouncing around. Are you playing the Braun Brother reunion this year?
We are. Yep. We're gonna be back this year, and
cool.
Yeah,
I might have to make it out this year now that I don't have Ruckus. I've wanted to go for a lot of years.
Come out, man. You'd love it. It's really grown the last couple of years too. You know, that's another thing. It was always kind of, you know, it was always this medium-sized deal. I mean, it's always been pretty big, but now it's made a leap the last couple of years where it's pretty much guaranteed sellout, and people are booking their camp spots like as they're leaving the year before.
Yeah.
You know? But it's so fun, man. It's just a blast.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks beautiful out there, man.
The area is cool, and the lineup's always killer, and I feel like they do a good job of teetering the lineup too, where it's like,
Mhm.
you know, they'll have stuff like, you know, we always say like, oh well, at least we got a couple that mom are gonna like too. But they're great too. You know, they like last year they had like Susie Boggess, who, you know, and
Yeah.
they had that Carpenter, Mary Chapin Carpenter, or something stuff like that, where you're kind of like, oh god. But then, you know, they do it because then they'll have, and they have Chris Knight and, you know, Corblund and
Mhm.
you know, so it's a good mix of stuff, man. You can
Yeah, it is. Fuck, like the year I almost went was the year they had Guy Clark. He ended up canceling though.
Yeah. I think we actually talked about that. They were, because I remember we did like a Guy Clark tribute last year.
Oh, did you?
Maybe it was the year before, and I think they were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun one, man. It's honestly, it's kind of become our, like I always tell everyone, like my family, we look forward to that more than Christmas, man. We don't really do Christmas. We go to Braun Brothers every year. We can get everyone to get on board for Braun Brothers.
Right on. It's probably cheaper to go to Bronze Brothers than it is for Christmas.
Exactly. A lot cheaper too.
Nobody's
It's
under
fun,
pressure
man.
to get anybody a gift.
Those guys have been insanely cool, good to us the last couple of years too. We just went out and did a bunch of shows with Reckless Kelly. You know, it's nice to have buddies like that. You know, get you into rooms.
Yeah.
We played a bunch out east. We got to play some really cool rooms I've always wanted to play.
Right on.
It's good to have friends, man. It's the only way to survive in this business.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did I read your bio wrong, or did you play for Widespread Panic for a while?
Yeah. No. I didn't play. So I played guitar with Jerry Joseph, who is kind of now a Portland legend of sorts, but he still plays around. He's a great songwriter character that if you haven't heard of, make sure and dig on him a little bit. He's a trip. He's had a crazy career. I was out opening up for him at some like ski resort type spots, and we just became friends. And then we did a tour from Portland to New York City and back as his backing band. So we kind of did that Bob Dylan and the band thing, you know.
Oh yeah.
And so that was cool because we got to play a bunch of, you know, cool bars in the South and whatnot that we've always wanted to play. And we became friends. And then he ended up asking me if I would be into hopping on and playing guitar for him. And it was kind of a weird move, career-wise, probably for me. But I don't know. I love his music, and you know, we were friends. And so I jumped in the mix and was playing guitar for him. And so he has written, let's see, Widespread Panic plays like 7 or 8 of his songs. And he's just really close friends with them. They used to open for him, actually, when they came out west, you know, for the first time in the early 90s or late 80s or whatever. So he's just really close with Widespread Panic. And so I got to know the Panic guys, and the bass player, Dave Schools, produced the record that I played on with Jerry. So I got to know him, and then we opened for Panic a couple times. And so I've just become friends with them. So I've never played with them, but
all right. Yeah, I thought that's what your biography said, that your old book.
Yeah, I think it says played guitar for a Widespread Panic songwriter. Trying to squeeze in all those little. This guy, I'm like, do we got to put that? Every manager's like, yes, you have to put that. All right, good to have in there. But yeah, the Panic guys they're great guys. They've been super cool to me over the years.
They've got almost like a miniature, like, Grateful Dead thing going there. Like people that follow them all around the country.
Oh, it's insane, man. It's bands like that. You know, it's like, hey, my girlfriend talking to her about it, she's like, who's that? And I'm like, how could you not know who this is? But and again, you know, it's such a cult thing. You know, it's kind of, I guess it is kind of like the Dead. You know, if you're not into it or you don't know about that world, it exists, you know, on its own plane. You know, and it's not like you don't hear them on the radio or you don't, you know, that whole kind of jam band world is so, you know, either you're in it or you're not. And
you
know nothing about it, and then you're like, oh my God, they're selling out an arena? Who the hell are these guys? I mean, it's kind of what's really cool about them.
Yeah, that is kind of cool about all those bands like OAR and Fish and.
Right, they can live their own, you know.
Yeah, they totally do too.
And completely supported.
And all their concerts, like, I might not be into it, but I can guarantee I'd have a good time at all their concerts. You know?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, those Panic people, man. I went and saw them in L.A. when I was living down there. We played like some after party down the street, and I forget. I think it was the Orpheum they played. And schools put us on the list, and yeah, I'll never forget going to the bar, and the bartender goes, "Holy shit, man, we are sold out of whiskey," and it was like first set. They saw another set. And he goes, "This has never happened. Like, who the hell is this band?"
They probably
are sold out of all. He's like, I'm saying all whiskey is gone. Like, all the well, all the. I'm like, yeah, it's a different world, man. I'm dealing with Southern folks here, man. Like their whiskey.
That's funny.
Yeah, Dave's been a cool cat too. Dave Schools is kind of the one I know better because we did all those recordings at this TRI Studios down in Santa Rosa. And we were down there for 2-3 weeks, and so, I got to kind of become buds, and we talked about doing some recording at some point. And he spends a lot of time in Nashville. So I imagine we'll do something in the studio at some point. He's really into producing. That's kind of his thing he always likes to do now. So
right on.
Finding bands and playing putting on the producer cap.
For sure.
So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully something cooks up in the future.
So, you got any other big plans for any festivals or anything?
Yeah. I'm just putting my ear together. I've been kind of really focusing on trying to get another record done, and it's so funny because we've been I'm in this debate now. Like I just talked to a friend recently. He was like, "Man, I'm not doing a record." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'm just doing singles, man. I'm making a video and putting out a single, and I'm going to put them all out one at a time till there's 10, and then I'll make it a record at the end. But like, I'm just going to do them one at a time." And I'm like, that seems like a weird.
Yeah, kind of.
I like albums, but he's like, dude, it's, he's like, look at these, there's all these bands that are coming out now. They're touring on a single.
Yeah.
Because it has just as much, you make a good video and put out a single. It's just so weird the way things are operating now. I guess it's just kind of Wild West.
Yeah, it totally is, man. Like, I haven't thought about that actually until you said something just now, but it makes perfect sense.
Totally. I was like, that's kind of a good idea, honestly. But I don't know. I like the album because for me, when you get a batch of songs together, and it really is like, I can't fit the feeling of, the writing of the past 2 years or whatever into one song.
Yeah.
I always like about.
Well, that too, and from a fan point, if I hear a song off of a new album, like a teaser, and it's really good, it gets me really excited for the whole album.
Totally, yeah.
I
wonder. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what the hell.
It's not like, oh well, that was a really good song. Now I gotta wait till he gets another fucking single out, know.
Yeah.
And then maybe do an album.
That's how I am, man. I don't know. I just maybe it's like maybe that's 90s kid.
I was gonna say, I was totally gonna say the same thing. It's because we're probably 90s kids, Yep.
The next generation, they could probably give a shit less how they get it, But yeah, so that's my big focus this at least this next couple months. But we're doing we got some good stuff on the books. So we're doing I got another 3 nights in Alaska coming up.
Cool.
Let's see, that's coming up pretty soon.
Where you play at in Alaska?
We've been playing at this place called the Alyeska Resort. It's a restaurant called the Sitzmark.
Okay.
And this year we're playing with a special guest guitar player, this guy Eric McFadden.
That sounds familiar.
You got to check him out if you haven't, man. He's just like unbelievable. He used to have this band called the EM3, Eric McFadden Trio, and he's just like the most insane gypsy jazz kind of flamenco almost style guitar, but he can chameleon play anything.
Cool.
So we're playing with him, and then we got some summer festivals going on, kind of doing some stuff in the South, and then doing our usual Idaho summer festivals. And
you coming out this way at all? Yeah,
we're actually not doing Hermiston. That's man, the Ruckus and the Boonies. That's a special place, man. We don't make it out there.
Well, yeah, we.
That bar hasn't done it.
We're not doing it this year anyway.
Really?
Last year's the last. But I sent some guys from Pendleton your way, and I was wondering if they could
totally. Yeah, we had one joint in Pendleton on the books. It was that Pacific.
Great Pacific?
Yeah, Great Pacific, and we had a date held there, but I don't know if it's going to happen because we just got some offer for some Reckless dates. We might might get sucked back out to the south. But
well, shit, if you end up out there, let me know, because I'll come out for
definitely
sure. Maybe I'll try to convince the owner to let me open for you guys.
Yeah, hell yeah, that'd be awesome, man. And
but they're putting on a little festival there. That's what I was asking.
Oh, nice, hell yeah.
They've got that American Aquarium band coming in, and Lily Hyatt's coming in, and
damn, really? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that, because it's good to see that kind of shit come out here, especially since I shut Ruckus down. I could never afford those guys anyways, and
yeah, oh, that'd be great, man.
So it's good to see something like a little better pop up, I guess, or a little more.
Yeah, I got to. I got to look that up. I haven't heard about that festival yet.
Yeah,
I like that area.
Yeah, I sent them your way, so they might be hitting you up soon. I don't know for sure though.
Do you know what it's called?
It's called the Jackalope Jamboree.
Oh, right. Okay, I have heard of that. That looks cool. Yeah, we'll be coming out. We'll be doing. We're playing Mississippi Studios in Portland on March 13th.
Really?
And then yeah, that's kind of been our spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say you play there quite a bit, huh?
Yeah, Portland's kind of been.
You must do pretty well there, because I've hit up Mississippi Studios before, and they don't really let you in there unless you got at least a bit of a draw or somebody local that will have one.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny spot, you know. They have their, I don't know. I think me playing with the Jack Mormons.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Over there, and then they allowed us to kind of grow, you know, at least a little more from where we were, and we do pretty well in Portland now. It's funny, like we were saying earlier, we have our kind of scattered thing, you know. We do well in Portland, Seattle's all right, you know, but then Idaho's great, Utah's great, Montana's great, you know, Colorado we do pretty well. We just kind of have our weird niches, you know. It's like we've just last couple of years I've just really tried to zero in on where we do well and focus on that, and not beat myself up over not, you know, being able to pull 50 people in LA or you know, Seattle. It's just like, well, maybe it's just not happening here. That's fine.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Wait till we get a good support squad or something, but I'm not dragging my whole band there to lose $500 every time we play in town.
No, that's kind of where I've got with Portland. I do well in Seattle and Tacoma and all those areas, but I get to Portland, I'm just like, fuck, never do I draw more than like 5 people.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, man. I don't know. Everyone has kind of, you know,
I used to do well in Montana, but a lot of the places I used to play have kind of went downhill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen this too. A lot of times things come in waves too. You watch places that do great fall apart and go into bankruptcy or switch owners, you know. Montana used to be a real hot spot for me. I'm booking a tour in May out to Chicago, and like I'm looking at Montana, and I'm just like, fuck. Even my friends that are from there having issues getting anything there.
Oh, in Montana? Yeah, that you know, Montana's a weird one too. It has changed a lot over the years, but man, I gotta say that people, you know, you find those right nights to play or the right scene of people. Like, what's up with that? Wasn't that Farmageddon thing out there?
Yeah, Farmageddon Fest was out
you guys should be. There's a whole scene of people that.
Yeah, well, a lot of them have kind of scattered away and moved. Is the problem, you know? It's like
right.
Because that was kind of the scene I was brought into, was the whole Farmageddon scene.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was like, man, I do think Ruckus and the Boonies and Farmageddon are, you know, you guys are cut from the same cloth, man.
Yeah, we kind of started in the wake of the Farmageddon Fest, moving from Montana to Wisconsin, because I was out here booking shit, and bands would just like hit me up after Farm Fest. I'd end up with like 20 bands hitting me up, and I was like,
wow.
I'm like, fuck, I should probably just throw a festival of my own, because I could get these.
What the hell?
Yeah. But then the next year they were like, well, we're moving to Wisconsin, and everybody in Montana was really pissed about it. So I threw something together here, and that's how Ruckus came about.
Right on. I kind of figured there was a story there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool little scene there. We've been doing for years, been playing up in Whitefish, doing that Whitefish Missoula Bozeman thing.
Yeah.
God, I remember going out playing out there in the middle of winter. It'd be like minus 28 degrees in Bozeman, and we're playing at the bar. It's just like, oh God.
Yeah, we went through there one time in winter too, and it was fucking great, man. It's always, the drives are always nerve-wracking, but
oh yeah,
but they do take really good care of the roads up there.
Oh yeah. People, you know, that's the thing. Idaho's kind of the same way. You just kind of, learn how to survive, man. It's you just expect it to be maybe terrifying.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. We're
But
just playing
goddamn,
it.
people come out in like armies during the winter up there to the bars, though. It's great.
Right, that's the thing, man. I swear it. I mean, that's the kind of thing too when you like growing up out here and I don't know, living out here, you kind of tap into that whole world, and it doesn't. You know, I bring people from the south up here and whatnot.
Mhm.
They're just like, my God, how do you people live in this? You know, it's like you just do, and you live in it, and you know, it's there's people out here that want to do stuff. You know, they still want to go out and
Yeah.
see music and whatnot, even though it's middle of winter and negative 10 degrees and
Mhm.
roads are crazy. It's like, well, doesn't mean there's not, you know, folks that still live out here and have a life and want to come out and
Well,
party,
also
see
too,
music.
my kind of thought on it too is when you start looking into summer stuff, is like you don't get more people are out camping and doing other shit during the summer, you know.
Right, right.
So like the wintertime is it's people are there's more people in the bars I think in the wintertime. Just people don't think about that, you know. Because
Totally.
everybody seems to huddle in there. It's warm. Everybody's drinking,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. And then, but during summertime, you're more likely to be going to a rodeo or going to another festival or something, or just going to visit family, you know.
Totally. No, it's kind of that, yeah, Idaho's, you know, I always think about that stuff. Is you know, it's kind of like that mountain life, mountain culture, you know. It's like
Mm,
everyone's huddled up in a bar somewhere, but, you know, everyone still wants to go out and see tunes and whatnot. You just got to kind of figure out how to
yeah.
tap into that whole scene.
But Idaho, yeah, it's kind of its own little country.
Yeah, oh yeah, I always say that to bands coming through here. It's like
I was,
we're like an island,
yeah.
you know. It's like its own little universe. But
I
it's
always
funny
tell them,
growing
get
up
rid of
here.
your drugs before you get into the fucking state.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's funny though. I don't know. It's sometimes I drive through here and I'm just, you know, we play gigs here and it's like, God, it's just as many stoners here as anywhere else. It's just
Yeah,
you just are constantly having to, you know, have that little voice in the back of your head, like, oh shit, be careful, man.
yeah,
You just never know. But I don't know. Everyone's still. It's fine. Everyone's the same everywhere. It's like that. Just because it's illegal here, that doesn't stop people from.
doing it.
We can, you know. But it sure is awesome that it's legal in Oregon.
Yeah.
You can, just drive right across the border there and load up.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, but they've always talked, like my side of Oregon's always at war with like the Portland side of Oregon.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, they
And
actually just opened. I'm sure they're just opening dispensaries in Ontario.
actually, I think they were. Well, maybe you're right. I know that it's still banned in my county. As far as I mean, they won't let a dispensary come in. I mean, it's
Right.
legal. They can't really do
Yeah,
much about it, but
that's barstool news. I'm telling you, so it might not be real, but
yeah, no.
rumor is.
Sumner has one, which is random because it's like tiny ass town.
Right.
It's really weird who picks up and who doesn't. Pendleton's got
Well,
a few great ones.
those little towns, man, it's like, geez, it's not a lot of business going on anyway. So like,
Hmm.
open up a dispensary, all of a sudden, you know, bring some money in.
Well, but
Yeah,
so this side of the state's always at war with Portland, right? And they've
oh,
always like they've started talking like this has been talked forever. Like, well, Idaho wants to buy out the eastern side of Oregon and Washington, and I'm kind of like I kind of get your guys' frustration, but I think you guys once we get, I was like, I don't think I want Idaho to buy us out though.
yeah, yeah, totally.
They've talked also about like just having the eastern state of Washington and Oregon form their own state, but this has like been hundreds of years of talking about this, so it's like
Yeah, I know Eastern Oregon and Idaho, it's kind of one and the same.
it is totally.
A lot of rural conservative folks that you know they just kind of want
Well, and the
to.
scenery too. It gets a
Yeah,
little
totally.
colder out your way, but if you could drive for miles and it looks almost exactly the fucking same, you know.
Yeah, that's true, man. I do love it out there, though, man. It's
I
kind
do
of its own
too.
little. It's like its own little state, you know. It's like, you know,
Hmm.
I don't, in the same way. It's just kind of its own bizarre little world, man.
Yeah,
I always get along with the people that live out here because it's just kind of where I grew up. So
yeah, that's me too.
relate.
I like lately it's been kind of like a little different. I fucking Trump got in office, I feel like I'm a little more of a target to have like somebody try to fucking get political with me, you know.
Oh yeah, God.
But
Yeah, it's such a hard thing these days, man. It really is tough to. I've had to really skate that because I feel like now, especially with politics right now, they want to paint it as black and white as they possibly can, and so they
yeah,
convince everybody that it's like all about one issue, and you're either on this side of the fence or the other, and you have to be enemies with the guy if he doesn't lead that way. And I feel like these politicians really treat it that way because they want to just secure your vote.
yeah,
And it's just horseshit because then when you have people like artists, where it's our job to bring people together and get people relieve people from stress. But then again, like my one of my like biggest heroes in my world is Steve Earle, and that's something I love about Steve Earle is he has absolutely no fucking there's not a second that he gives a shit about not being political or I don't know if you've seen a Steve Earle show, but he has no problem making a crowd boo at him for 5 minutes while he gives his rant. And I always really admire him for that. I went and saw him at the Caverns down in Tennessee recently. I'm a huge fan. My girlfriend got me a ticket. People were not very stoked on his little speech, but you know what? He still gives it.
It's like, so what side does he fall on?
Oh no, he's just he's super liberal and he's very anti. Yeah, he's just very anti death penalty. He's very anti. Well, he's very anti-Trump, but
yeah,
he's just not. He's just anti.
And he's playing in country music in Tennessee.
Yeah, dude. I mean, but I love that about him.
Yeah, I do too.
Whatever, man.
He's one of my favorites too. Steve Earle is. Well, and he's
I feel like it's the way you come at it too, though. It's like and he comes at it kind of aggressively, which I think is badass. But I try to approach that stuff,
gentle.
Yeah, I'm not trying. I'm not going out and playing. And honestly, it's kind of stupid for me to do that anyway. Me going and splitting my 100-person audience in half, it's like
exactly.
But at the same time, it's like there is a way to approach it and talk about it, and I got friends on both sides of the deal, and whatever, man. But I think at some point you got to call you got to call it what it is. And
yeah. Well, and like you said too, it's like they have to make it a black and white thing, like
right.
Not necessarily support either side, but there's things from both sides, probably more from the liberal side, but I mean there's things from both sides that I do support,
Totally.
And I think when you break it down to brass tacks, there's a lot more folks out there that do, there's probably a lot of conservatives that support a lot of liberal things and they don't even think about it because they're so drawn into this like high school football rivalry mentality of fucking Democrats and Republicans,
Right.
There's probably a lot more libertarians out there that know that they, know.
And that's Idaho and Montana, it's where I grew up, it's more of that, stay the hell out of my yard, but I don't care what you do outside of that, which, I do like that. And everyone's just mostly for, less taxes, but legal weed, and, I'm kind of like, hey, I'm pretty down with all this, to some degree, so it's like, yeah, there's just too many people in this country for two parties. It's just the bottom line, but who knows, man? Hopefully in our lifetime we'll see some shit. It's now that we've entered into reality television politics, who knows what's going to happen next, man? There's no place in bets anywhere, man. It's just like.
Well, yeah, if he gets another 4 years, he'll probably just have a camera follow him around 24 hours a day.
Good God, dude, it's exhausting. That's something too. Just writing the new record and stuff, and I kind of went into it, with. The politics has been so insane. There's plenty to write about, but I don't know. I just found myself so exhausted with politics that I kind of removed myself from it, and I thought I was going to make this political record, and it's like, man, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. I'm like,
me too,
I'm
man.
exhausted. I'm over it, and I don't want to sing about this.
Yeah, and
I don't want to write songs about this right now, and I'm just not ready to make that record anymore. I'm just tired of it.
I can understand that too, man. Like it's kind of where I've been every once in a while. I'll fucking get in the mood and I'll post like some meme or whatever.
Right. Here we go, and here comes it. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, but then again, I'm like the same way. I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like I'm tired of this shit in general. Like I don't give a fuck anymore.
Right.
If you guys want to watch the country burn, I'm just gonna enjoy my time here.
Right.
for as long as it can.
I feel like I've almost had to figure it out where I can. Yeah, I have to, I just let the politics, I can't let it be. It's so much now too. It's just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
At some point, you just got to know when to turn it off, man.
Well, too, and I always say there's a reason.
I'm not doing that right now, and I need a break.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? There is life outside of this bickering, and
Yeah.
and that's honestly right in your community. Right in your back door, and your neighbors, and those are the local politics are the shit that ultimately end up affecting your life.
Yeah.
Mostly. So I found myself just kind of trying to focus on my neighborhood and my local politics more so than the fucking Donald Trump garbage can. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's important to pay attention. If you're looking for a guy that's definitely kicking ass at writing political songs and making a statement, I just went and I opened up a gig in Nashville with my girlfriend for this guy Will Hogue.
Huh.
And I would recommend checking him out. He's got this record called My American Dream, and he put on this show that just blew my mind. It's kind of like almost like a Springsteen style energy, He
Nice.
came out, played 2.5 hours straight, and just kicking ass.
I love Springsteen.
Yeah, and he's like, you'd love him, man. He blew me away.
What's his name again?
Will Hogue.
Will Hogue.
Yeah, check him out. Fucking Jeff blew me away recently, and sharply political. Like he grew up in, he's a Nashville guy, grew up there, but has no problem telling you to fuck off, which I have a lot of respect for guys who do that, and it's not necessarily a popular place to have that opinion. So I'm always like, right on, man. Fucking hey, stick your neck out. It's good to see it's still out there, Might not be on the weekly top 40, but it's out there, and there's an audience,
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I would think so, especially in this day and age, there's probably...
Yeah, people say that a lot too, like, oh, that's what, no one sings about politics anymore and this and that. I'm like, no, plenty of people do. They just don't get played on the radio or on your freaking top Spotify playlist.
Well, and another thing too that fucking irritates me is when people are like, you're a musician, you should play music. I'm like, well, you're a trucker, you should fucking drive truck.
Right.
But I still sit there and watch you bitch about politics just like anybody else. Shut up and drive a truck, trucker.
Right. The shut up and singers, we call them.
Yeah.
The shut up and singer crowd is lying to me, but.
Well, yeah, they're also the ones that listen to like Luke Combs and shit. So.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah, that's another Nashville that. It is funny, man. You think because when I say that, especially touring out here, I say I live in Nashville. And, oh, really? Oh, yeah, that must be terrible, isn't that? And it's like, well, not really, because there is that world there. But to be totally honest with you, I have no connection or desire. It's like if you're not in it, it just doesn't even exist.
Well, and I started
thinking, in East Nashville, and there's its own little scene. There's so many great musicians outside of that pop country garbage. You don't even notice it. I mean, I don't go to it. I don't see it. I don't write with those people. So it's really who you hang out with and where you go see music.
Yeah.
Sure, that's there, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Who's the top crappy country guy now?
Well, when you started talking actually about Nashville and you said, the Broadway scene, I started thinking even the Broadway scene actually isn't really all that poppy.
No, well, it's funny, like certain bars, you kind of find your spots. I mean, I don't really, I'm playing, I play this place, Acme Feed and Feed, kind of on the end of Broadway. And I always like them because it's a cool, they book all types of music. They don't give a shit about covers, you just do your thing. And so I always like playing there. And it's kind of just a fun spot to play. It's like an old, chicken, barn that they turn into this bar. It's pretty rad.
Right.
But then, there's there, and then there's this other joint, Robert's Western World, kind of in the middle of Broadway. That's just, they've kept their dignity, it's all old time and outlaw country kind of vibe, and they did just keep it's an awesome place, and that's where I send people when they go there. Then you go to Tootsie's and all that garbage if you want to go here,
Yeah, Layla's is another place, that's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, Layla's is cool. But I got to tell you, when I first moved to Nashville, the two biggest records were Sturgill Simpson and Chris Stapleton. And walking down Broadway hearing Chris Stapleton tunes, it's not too bad.
Yeah,
if
could be
the hit
worse.
right now, maybe there is maybe there is some light at the end of the
Yeah,
tunnel.
yeah. And Cody James is picking up a lot of steam right now too. There's a lot of underdogs kind of picking up. Which, I mean, some of those guys aren't quite my cup of tea either, but it's good to know that something a little more original and a little less shitty is making its way.
Right, and I can definitely stand to hear that over
for sure.
the line or whatever. So I'm I mean, I don't know. I think there's hope, and I don't know. I guess we're just at this point now in the whole thing where I'm realizing that, well, maybe it isn't so bad not ever having a major deal or anything.
Yeah.
Just creating your own little world, and managing your business from a grassroots level, and if you got 1,000 people that are dedicated and love your music anymore, it's like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I can be happy with that. Obviously, in our world, you always dream of having something bigger, but at the end of the day, I get to travel around and play my music. I'm not playing covers, and I don't know. I could be happy doing this for a long time.
Well, yeah. That's kind of the dream, really.
My buddy says there's a rule. It's like at my level of playing, I forget where he heard it, but he said you can have a house, you can have a wife, or you can have a dog. Or no, you can have a wife, you can have a kid, or a house, but you can't have all three. You only get one.
That's funny.
I was like, oh man, that is actually so true. I'm looking at people around me like, wow, that actually seems to be the thing. You either lose your wife, you lose your kid. Oh, it's just crazy.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. It's a rough thing to go through. You can't. A lot of people think they can too, and the only people I've seen to be musicians and parents and at a lower level of being a musician are kind of scumbags, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see a lot. I mean, it's a funny thing. I mean, there's nothing in the world that would make my mother happier than having a kid.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. It just seems. I don't know though. I have friends that I have a good handful of friends that are. You make it work, and I definitely am not a fan of anyone saying, "Oh, you can't do that." It's like, well,
that
you can't do it doesn't mean someone else can.
Yeah, and I mean that's not my mentality towards it either. I've just seen a lot of shitty parents,
But totally. Well, and I mean the reality is, in this line of work, you're going to be gone, and that's it's like Steve Earle actually on his last record, he's got this song. If you want to be an outlaw, you can never go home. But I like it because the whole idea of it. It's like kind of true. Like if you choose to do the music thing, it's just the reality is you're going to be on the move all the time. That's just how it is. And so you're probably not going to see your kids that much. And I have friends with kids now that they're like, man, I want nothing more than to be home with my wife and kids. Like if I would have known it was going to be this hard, I don't know if I'd even chosen this. But so I can only imagine, it's got to be tough.
Yeah.
That's why I'm pretty much like, I think everyone else is having kids. I'll leave it to them.
Yeah.
We'll see. We got enough people on there at this point.
Yeah. And fuck at this point. If we keep reproducing, who's to say what kind of shape the planet's going to be in for the...
Yep. Who knows, man? Who knows? Although my parents said the same thing when they were my age, so they're like, well, I wouldn't plan for the end of the world quite yet. They're like, I don't know. My mother was always telling me, yeah, your dad used to talk like that. Sooner or later, then you got the, who knows? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting next 10 years, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no matter what happens.
Right. Well, man, I got to hit the road here and start getting to work on getting ready for this weekend. We're actually heading to the Sundance Film Festival.
Oh, right on. What are you doing down there?
Yeah, we're playing 3 nights down there. I've played it before, but it's a big film thing, but they do these big parties at night.
Oh, cool.
So I've been going down and playing at bars here and there. It's always a big crazy party.
Right on.
So we're playing for 3 nights down there, a couple different spots, and then I'm going to and then we head out to Jackson Hole, doing 2 nights in Jackson Hole, and then making our way back to Nashville.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. We're actually just
yeah.
about where I usually like to be at an interview is in between a half hour and an hour. So we're coming up on an hour. So
Right on, man.
Worked out pretty good. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Like you don't really know me that well, and you gave me an hour of your day, so I appreciate the hell out of you.
Yeah, hell no, man. Pretty nice chatting with you again, too, man. We'll let's stay in touch, man. Let me know when you get the Ruckus and the Boonies going again.
You bet, man. I'll talk to you later, man.
Hey, cheers.
Bye.